I'm going to try something I've never done before. So last year I made the iPod series, a 4-part series about my month going back to the humble iPod. And today I'm bringing you all 4 parts in one video. This all started as an idea for one video, like I would listen to music through an iPod for a month. It would just be a fun retro tech video, but it ended up being so much more than that. And not only a 4-part series, but a journey through my relationship with music, my phone, and what I want from technology in general. This series is a completely different style than my typical videos, and it directly led to things like the mixtape series, which we just recently released. So it was going to be one video, ended up being 4, and now today it's going to be one giant video again, just like my original idea. No, actually, there's no way I could have seen any of this coming. All right, without further ado, here we go. The iPod series in its entirety. Lately, I just don't know what to listen to. Like, I could listen to absolutely anything, but I don't. Sure, there's all kinds of playlists. Spotify even has a new AI DJ feature, but that's not what I'm looking for. Lately, I have this deep feeling to just run in the exact opposite direction. So here's what I'm doing. For 1 month, for the month of June, I'm listening to music exclusively through an iPod. All right, stop. Wait. It's me from the future, all right? Specifically 3 weeks into this little experiment. Look, I thought I was making just a fun video where I would listen to music through an iPod for a month. I thought it was gonna be one video, and I thought it was gonna be super easy. Instead, it changed my life in several major ways. So this is going to be a series of 4 videos. It'll include my own personal experiences, interviews with people much smarter than I am. This thing, it got so much bigger than I thought it would be. And all of this has presented a new problem for me, the version of me that's 3 weeks into this experiment. And as of publishing this video, I still don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how week 4 is going to end. This is a 5th generation video iPod. It was originally released in 2005, though this is not my original iPod. That one died years ago. Apple doesn't repair them anymore, and sure, you can fix it yourself, but I can't imagine how complicated that is. I got this one on eBay for like $100. This has a new battery, a new 80GB hard drive, and a new faceplate and click wheel. I've also got my iPod headphones. iPods don't have Bluetooth, so my AirPods are useless. Now it's time to delete some apps. I won't be needing Spotify anymore, or Apple Music, or Tidal. Yes, I subscribe to all 3. I use them for different things, and I don't want my algorithms mixing. You know what I mean? This feels like I'm unbundling the music function out of my phone. I sorted through years of unorganized hard drives and bought a USB-C to 30-pin iPod cable and managed to get some music on my iPod. It still syncs through iTunes, though you have to re-enable the iTunes store in settings if you want to buy more music. The reason I'm in New York is because I am DJing a wedding today. I'm contracted through another company. These people have no idea who I am, but I have just loaded up the gear and I have encountered 2 problems. For one, take a look at this. Where is the aux input? You want to connect a phone? No, I don't want to do that. I want to wire in an aux. Can we do that? Where I'm DJing today is way out on Long Island. I just checked the traffic and it says it's going to be about a 2-hour drive. And I'm not going to be able to listen to music because there's no aux in the car. I don't want Bluetooth. I don't have Bluetooth. I'm beginning to think this was a bad idea. The other problem, a bigger problem than me not being able to listen to music on this drive, is that the DJ controller that I have here to use it's only USB-A. That's the regular USB, and my computer takes USB-C. So I gotta get a converter on the way, otherwise I won't be able to DJ at all. This one cable has the potential of ruining these people's night. Just like one cable is ruining my drive right now.
I can like sing a song or something. I could beatbox. Oh, it's been a long time since I beatboxed.
Do you have any FM transmitters? I know that's kind of old tech, but no? All right, thank you. I just unloaded and set up at the wedding. Right when I unloaded, the catering guy comes over. He's like, "Oh, Mr. DJ, huh? All right." And we get talking, and he tells me that he used to DJ. And he's like, "I got those Technics, huh? Yeah, I made my own speakers. Would you believe it?" He really did not quite talk like that, but it... We're in cocktail hour right now. We just finished the ceremony, and this guy comes over here, the catering guy, right? We get talking again. We're talking about music. He's telling me about all the old New York clubs he used to DJ in, and like we're talking music. It's a really cool conversation. Then he goes, "Hey, what's your name again?" And I said, "Oh, my name's Brandon." And I said, "You're Steve, right?" That's what I thought his name was. And he goes, "No, my name is Chef." And I said, "Wait, but are you the kid?" And he goes, "No. I'm the father of the bride. This is my house." So it went great. Here's what happened. So the reception starts and it goes great. They had requested almost exclusively disco. I also got a ton of requests. And this is the part where I tell you that I cheated just a little bit. I actually did stream some music. Tidal integrates directly into Serato, which is what I was using. And I have most of the stuff just on my computer, but some of the stuff I hadn't heard of. But then later in the night, Chef comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I need you to play a song." I go, "Yeah, absolutely, whatever you need." He says, "I need Tavares." What? Heaven Must Have One Less Angel? What's the name? Heaven's Angel. I know it's Tavares. Heaven probably has one less angel. I should have written it down. I'm gonna Google it later. I tell you that. Tavares Angel. Something with angel. There's these soaring strings. They just grabbed me. You know I'm a sucker for strings. I loved it. And like the thing is if I had my phone, what I would do right now on this drive home is do a deep dive into deep cut disco songs that I don't know. But I can't do that because for one, my iPod doesn't have the internet. And then for two, there's no aux in the U-Haul. So So before streaming, right, we had to buy CDs or albums or cassette tapes or just buy stuff on iTunes. And do you remember how that felt? I was around before the internet, so I remember how that felt. And it's kind of hard to describe to someone who wasn't there. I don't know, you have a sense of ownership over the music. For one, because you spent actual money on it, so like it hurt a little bit. Also things like trying to open a CD jewel case, huge pain, and that friction makes you appreciate the music more. And now Spotify, there's so much music and there's no friction. And I think that's a good thing, but that presents a problem. You can't sort through 100 million songs all by yourself. You need help, and that's where the algorithm comes in. If you liked this song, you're probably gonna like this song. If you like this album, you're probably gonna like this album. But if you only ever hear music that you like, is that a good thing? So I've been reading this book by Kyle Chayka. He's a staff writer for The New Yorker covering technology and culture. The book is called Filter World: How Algorithms Flattened Culture. He talks about the history of algorithms and how now algorithms have a massive influence on nearly every aspect of our lives, especially the way that we consume and interact with culture. This book was so fantastic, I had to call up Kyle to talk to him about it. So you talk about in the book the old way of consuming culture culture and it being full of friction. We had to choose more carefully the things that we're consuming, and now there's so many things, it's like the paralysis of choice.
Every new thing is now competing with the entirety of culture that has existed before it. So it's like on Spotify, you can either listen to a new track from some new artist, or you can listen to literally any other song that has ever existed and is licensed. In order to keep your attention and like attract you enough, a new piece of culture has to overcome that competition from everything else. And so it seems to privilege the things that are the most attention grabbing and the most like addictive in a way. I think a law of filter world that I describe in the book is like what's already popular gets more and more popular, and what is already obscure gets more and more obscure. I think algorithmic feeds eventually route you toward the lowest common denominator. So if Spotify is playing for long enough, eventually it's going to get so conservative and so safe that it's just like the thing that everyone is okay with, or the thing that works the best for your category of user.
Along with that, you talk about in the book the rise of ambient culture and stuff that can be ignored because it doesn't have much individual significance. Do you see a place for that kind of ambient culture background?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love ambient content. like I definitely am critical of it in the book, but I think there's a great role for it in your life. You know, like I think background music is good. I think Brian Eno, who coins the phrase ambient music, his original definition was something that's as ignorable as it is interesting. So you can either ignore it or you can pay attention to it, and it rewards attention. The problem with ambient content for me is when too many things are ambient. Like if everything has to be ambient, that's terrible for culture.
Yes.
That's what is prioritized right now.
Let me ask you about taste. So you talk about the importance of taste, which requires things like being deeply felt, time to engage with it, and surprise, which all are counter to the goals of an algorithm. What can people do to practice developing your own taste surrounded by all of these algorithmic platforms?
Taste is a kind of labor also. Like it's something you have to put work into, cultivate intentionally. What comes after that is just cultivating something like a collection or a library or an organization of things that you know you like. You know, it could be a library of books, it could be an art collection, it could also be playlists on Spotify.
Could be an iPod.
It could be an iPod, yeah.
So how do you balance listening to stuff that you love listening to and stuff that you don't necessarily like but is interesting or provokes you? Because I love that idea that like it's not necessarily, you're not supposed to like everything. How do you seek those kinds of things out?
I mean, for me, the balance comes from those like human curators who are doing the work of organizing culture for me. Like I don't know enough about music to know what to look out for. So when I'm listening to someone's DJ set or like a radio show, and I know that they've like curated this really interesting mix of music, I'm much more likely to sit with the songs and be patient and not just skip to the next thing.
Well, with that, you mention in the book Awakening by Hiroshi Sato, which is I'm not familiar with. I love that you then practice what you preach and you give a whole history of the scene. And do you have any other, like, if you got like one album that you would recommend?
The Hiroshi Sato album is like really great, I think, and to your point, it is an album. But I was just listening to before we started recording this short album by Pharoah Sanders, who's a jazz musician. Yeah. That album is called Harvest Time. I was just going back to that track and remembering how much I liked it.
Kyle and I talked for about 45 minutes. Our full conversation is on the podcast and the video on Digging the Talks. I highly recommend his book, Filter World. It puts words to a lot of how I've been feeling. We're just passively moving through modern life, taking in content and accepting whatever's given to us through an algorithm, whose intention is not to provoke or inspire, but just to keep you on the platform a little longer. I woke up on Sunday morning to this notification. I spent almost 7 hours a day on my phone this week, and none of that was listening to music. I've been on Instagram since 2010, a year before Spotify launched in the US. I spent almost an hour on Instagram every day, and I can't tell you a single photo or video I saw. It used to be social media, but now it's more like quick entertainment with a comment section. How is this algorithm affecting me? I'm gonna take this a step further and leave Instagram for the rest of the month too. I'll have more time to listen to music, and I don't think I'll miss that much. Instead, I got this camera. It's like a disposable camera, but it's digital. Point and shoot, no screen, no settings. So I'm also unbundling the camera from my phone. It's only been a week, but I'm feeling good about this iPod month. It's taken some getting used to, and there are challenges, but I feel like...
Hold up. I just got back to my car and something crazy happened. I just opened up my glove box, right? So ignore all the registration and extra Starbucks napkins and stuff. Look at this. Look at this little orange tab. What is this orange tab here? Let's pull it. Oh my God. That is a 30-pin cable for an iPod. This car is a 2010 and I had no idea that was in there. I have no idea if it will work. Okay, the car is on. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes! How naive. Would you look at me? Week 1 me has no idea what's coming. No idea the hole he's digging for himself. The hole that I, week 3 me, find myself in now. But after talking to Kyle and reading Filter World, I understood more about how algorithms affect what we see, what we consume. But then I started to think, how do algorithms affect what gets made in the first place? We live in a world ruled by algorithms. The music we listen to, the shows we watch, what we see on social media or Google, it's all algorithms. But how do these algorithms affect what gets made in the first place? The thing with algorithms is at their core, Say algorithm one more time. I dare you. What an idiot. Look, I started this little experiment where I wanted to use an iPod for a month, but things got out of hand, and I'm currently in week 3 with a new problem that I did not see coming. Last week was the first week. I started using the iPod for the month of June, talked to the author of the book Filter World, and explored how algorithms affect media, art, and the culture we consume. But then I started to wonder how algorithms affect what media, art, and culture get made in the first place. Oh, I also decided to leave social media for the rest of the month too, algorithms. So this video is week 2 in a 4-part series. I'll just keep digging this hole, the one that current me, week 3 me, is stuck in. Alright, roll the tape. Week 2, here we go. Guys, 2015 RAV4, check this out. Are you kidding me? Just connect a USB right there, and we're good. It's week 2 of my iPod experiment, and I love my iPod. No complaints. Yes, it's more work to get your music on there, and you have to decide what music to put on in the first place. But it's been really great. I'm paying more attention to what I listen to, and I even upgraded my headphones. Being off social media gives me a little more brain space, and I have more time for things like Questlove's new book. No, my iPod doesn't have 100 million songs on it, but it has my songs on it, my collection. It just feels different. I'm more connected to the music. I am noticing other subtle changes though. The iPod is changing my workflow. I unbundled the music out of my phone and then photos, and that's felt good for my brain, so then I figured I'd take out my notes too.
A lot of research goes into my videos, a lot of laying out historical points, quotes, breakdowns, and other video clips. Then I have to put it all somewhere. I typically use Notion for this, dumping my notes in and typing a script after that, but lately I've been trying out using a good old-fashioned pen and paper. I love it. It feels like everything sticks with me better and my brain can make connections better between elements. I'm still typing the full video script on my computer, but this one change has made a noticeable difference in how I feel. My brain is calmer. Now I'll let you in on a secret. The secret of YouTube. It's not about making great videos. Well, that's part of it, but that's only half of it. The other half is the title and thumbnail, the angle you present the video in. For every Digging the Greats video, there are multiple titles and thumbnail options. Many channels do this. In fact, YouTube just released a thumbnail testing tool where you can upload up to 3 thumbnails and it'll try them out on different users and pick the best performing one. Why does this matter? Because you can have the greatest video in the world, but if no one clicks on it first, no one's gonna watch it. Subscriber counts don't actually mean much. Just because you subscribe, that doesn't mean the YouTube algorithm will automatically show you my video. So crafting a clickable title and thumbnail is crucial. This is a game that if you want to be successful on YouTube, you kinda have to play. Sure, there are exceptions, but this is the general rule. I want you to watch my videos because I pour my soul into them, and I want to take you on a journey and help you appreciate the music you love even more. YouTube wants you to watch any video that will keep you on the platform so they can keep serving ads. So videos that do that well are the ones that get surfaced by the algorithm. Thus, I continue to play the game, tightening the edit, while trying to stay genuine, trustworthy, and true to myself. This sounds cynical, but I think this is true of all online platforms. Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, they're all trying to keep you on the platform as long as possible in order to serve you ads. So whatever does that well, that's what you'll come across online. And often it feels like we're not making videos or stories or photos or sharing ideas online. We're making content for a platform.
Jeez, bro.
This week I had another gig, this time playing bass and DJing for a wedding in the hills of Malibu. Last week I was by myself, but this week I'm with a bunch of friends in the band, which means more music recommendations for my iPod.
This is so sick.
If you could recommend one album to put on my iPod that I should listen to.
One album.
Can I look through my phone?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can do it if you want.
Okay. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with the new Billie Eilish album.
Okay.
I think it's so wonderful.
What's the name of it?
I think it's Hit Me Hard and Soft.
I gotta ask this guy a question. He's out here filming content. He's on the clock. He's on the clock, and I got a gig question, and he's asking her about her album. I'm trying to get a gig on for this.
Well, I'm gonna ask you too,
Digging
man.
the Greats.
Hit Me Hard and Soft.
Jeez.
That's the one.
All right. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna get it.
You ever listen to Smino?
No.
Perfect. Love for Rent.
Love for Rent. Smina?
Smino. Smino.
Okay.
Straight out of St. Louis. I think you'll like his vibe, but
All right.
Love for Rent.
Peebo Bryson, Reaching for the Sky. I think it's 1978, something like that. No skips. No skips on.
You didn't want to say your own album that you came
Well,
out
you
with
should.
yesterday?
I thought you were doing a feature on that. I thought there was like its own video for "Sorry to Keep You Up" by Payson Lewis, which just came out yesterday.
Ray, R-A-Y-E, My 21st Century Blues.
So Peter Gabriel.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a phenomenal album.
That's the one with Sledgehammer on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know the album well enough. So, all right, I'm going to put it on there. All right, great.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you.
You better buy my album. You better buy my album and play it on this trip. Like,
Between talking with Kyle last week and doing things like manual notes this week, I got thinking more and more how algorithms and the internet affect not only what people see, but what people make in the first place. This is my friend Ravel Day. He's a vocalist, songwriter, and artist who has about 75,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. He's also one of the most positive and just best people you'll ever meet.
Did you ever have an iPod?
I mean, yeah, when I was like in 6th grade.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Now, in 2024, it's easier than ever to record music, to make music, to put music out.
Yeah.
Like the flip side of that is because there's so much more noise to have to cut through.
It's crazy, bro.
How do you grapple with cutting through the noise?
Cutting through the noise is such a weird part of what we do because it's so integral, but if it's too integral, it like poisons the entire experience.
Yes.
If the only point of what you're doing is to like be louder than, then that's what they're going to see is that you're loud.
Yeah. Like I've noticed a shift. It's talking about how the internet is changing.
Yeah.
And not only walls going up, but a shift of like organic reach.
And Spotify will try to, artists you follow released a song today or whatever, but even there, like it's so hard to the people that have chosen to engage with you sometimes.
Yes.
It is so hard to still reach them.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. If you don't know that Instagram isn't pushing your videos to the people that follow you, well, then you just think that nobody likes anything that you're doing.
Right,
and so it's so important to understand, no, like there's a machine behind all of this.
Yes.
And so we have to be specific with what we're doing and what we're engaging with so that we're not confused. No, they're not showing people your videos. They're not doing it. Let me be the one to tell you.
Separate from the internet,
Okay.
tell me about Dayfest.
Dayfest was born from these same thoughts. It was born from, for clarity, Dayfest is a festival that I've been putting on, a light festival in Southern California, where I invite artists that are really good friends of mine who are so incredible. And we have a house band, and it's kind of a variety show. And let's all get together in a safe space on an afternoon and have a great time. But I started it because I've been in LA my whole life. And I was so tired of this pay to play, we're all in a room just trying to be seen and trying to be heard thing. But no one's really paying attention and the ambiance kind of sucks.
Which feels like an IRL version of the internet.
No, truly, it really is. We're literally going into room and cosplaying Instagram.
Yeah.
Which sucks, and I hate that. And I think for the same reason that I hated social media, I was really not enjoying live music, which I love so much.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I have nothing but dope musicians in my friend circle. You know what I mean? We have the stuff, I have the space. Let's just try to do something.
You're making your own little microculture of, hey, if you like me and you like my stuff, you should come over here to this thing, and I'm going to introduce you to my friends who you will probably also like.
You're going to dig it.
Which that is the most solid recommendation you could have. What would you recommend I put on my iPod and listen to?
So there's an artist, her name is Lizzie McAlpine.
Oh, yeah, Lizzie McAlpine's great.
The album is called 5 Seconds Flat.
5 Seconds Flat, okay.
By Lizzie McAlpine. Some incredible songwriting. There's a guy named Channel Trey.
Okay, I do not know Channel Trey.
Heck yeah. He is like more of like a DJ, kind of like house R&B mix out of South Central.
Okay.
He's done some collaborations with people that you're definitely going to know. You're going to dig him a lot.
Our full 30-minute conversation is on the podcast and video on Digging the Talks. You should check it out.
I think I figured it out.
Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, any online platform, they're using algorithms to show users stuff to keep them on the platform as long as possible, which means if you're an artist or creator of some kind and you want your stuff to be seen, it's in your best interest to appease this algorithm, which can lead to making not art or good, important media, but content for a platform. This is exactly what Spotify is doing. It's the CEO saying the cost of making content is basically zero, setting new streaming minimums to get paid at all, or bundling podcasts and audiobooks so they can technically pay artists even less. We're not making music. We're making audio content for Spotify. And the walls of these platforms, they're getting higher. It's harder to link out. So for artists and creators, you either build your thing on a borrowed plot of land within city limits, playing by their rules, or you're not going to get seen. And then there are people like Ravel who are playing and building things elsewhere in the unincorporated land in between. No gatekeepers, no algorithms to harness, just the art that you want to make.
But think about this. How many things have you listened to, watched, or read online that were just purely fluff? And how many more substantial things that you would love have you not seen because those things were not optimized for an algorithm?
I need to go see more live music. I want to buy more music recommended by actual humans.
Okay.
And stuff that isn't built for algorithmic platforms.
So my wife and I both have our iPods. I have like board mixes and live recordings of stuff that I played and stuff that my friends have done and people that I listen to in the music industry. I have like some of their recordings.
Yeah. So like you can't, that's not public stuff. Yeah.
No. but it's all like stuff that I've used and that I'm listening to kind of be inspired to do what I do today. So.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I took all the music apps off of my phone and switched to an iPod. And last week, I got off social media as well. But I'm still addicted to my phone. I still instinctually pick it up and I just want to scroll. And I'll go to email or YouTube or one of the few websites that is still in existence that I still check. This last week was WWDC. It stands for the Worldwide Developer Conference that Apple puts on every year, and they preview their new software. This year was all about AI. Siri is going to be able to do some incredible things. It's going to make connections between different parts of your life, as well as things like ChatGPT, and make your life easier. And what I was struck by is this is the same company that made my beloved iPod. And I just have zero interest in this. AI presents the same problems as algorithms, except they're magnified even more, and there's even more problems. Like, I don't know, I'm listening to music exclusively through an iPod. I'm listening to more music than usual. I'm listening to it more intentionally. I am loving every aspect of it. I'm building a new collection of music. I'm also doing things like handwriting notes for videos, or check this out. This is like my little to-do list thing. Check it out. We got notes here. We got to-dos in the front. Like, I'm more productive than I normally am. When I had my first iPod, there was no AI, there was no iPhones, there was no social media, there was no Spotify. None of these services that are hell-bent on just grabbing your attention and keeping it. Like, I'm just gonna say it, for all the great stuff we have now, the pre-algorithm internet, in some ways, was better. There's gotta be a way to go back. I think I need to get rid of my iPhone. Boo, idiot. Oh, I'll just get rid of my phone. Week 2 me still has no idea what's gonna happen next week. Week 3, where I'm at now. Just keep digging that hole, man. Don't worry about it. I can't fault week 2 me, because that is still me. But yes, I started to now wonder, is the answer in the past? Like, is the old way of doing things better? I love my iPod. Being off social media is great, but if I go all the way back to all older technology, will that continue to make me feel better, more connected to music, people, my work, and life? 3 weeks ago, I started an experiment. For 1 month, I was gonna listen to music exclusively through an iPod. But of course, things got more complicated. I explored how algorithms affect everything we do, see, and consume. I left social media, got a point-and-shoot camera, started asking people for music recommendations. The next week, I explored how algorithms and the modern internet affect artists and creators and what kinds of things get made in the first place. And then I had a new hypothesis. See, I remember life before the internet, before smartphones, before algorithms. Most of us are addicted to our phones, myself included, but we accept them because it's just part of modern life and you have to have them. But do you? What if the old technology, the pre-algorithm world, what if that's better? I thought I was making a fun video about an iPod, but it ended up changing my life and creating a new problem that I'm not sure how to solve. If you've seen the previous 2 videos, you know me. I mean, not just me, but week 3 me, where I'm at now. I don't know how this series is going to end because, well, none of this went how I thought it was going to go at the beginning. I have a few more things to show you that happened this week, week 3, and then I'll explain my problem. So I'm still rocking my iPod. I upgraded the pads on my headphones to get a bigger bass sound out of them. They sound amazing. Honestly, this iPod thing is easier than I thought it would be. I'm listening to more music, really great music. It's a more isolated experience on the iPod, and because I'm buying it, I'm really motivated to listen to it. It's slightly more inconvenient with the syncing and carrying another device around, but the positives are outweighing the negatives here. Being off social media has given me a ton of brain space back. I can think again. I'm taking pictures with this digital disposable style camera. It's simple and fun. I take the picture and I'm back in the moment. I'm also handwriting my research notes. My pocket notebook has other notes and to-dos, and this week I decided to go full dumb phone. Well, mostly. I wanted to get a flip phone or a light phone. Have you seen those? It's a super simple phone that deliberately doesn't have a bunch of apps. Instead, I decided to convert my existing iPhone 13. Step 1. Delete every app other than Messages, Maps, Calendar, and Phone. Messages are the main way I communicate with my phone. Maps and calendars were necessary for my trip to Sonoma this week, and you can't delete the phone app. I tried. Step 2. Turn my screen black and white. This immediately made my phone less interesting. Not only could I not use any apps, it's a bore to look at. Step 3. Put on a matte screen protector. This softens the pixels on the screen even more and makes it feel like a light phone. Messages, Maps, Calendar, Phone. There was just one problem. I've been filming this whole series on my iPhone, and if I can't use the camera, that means I have to use an old Sony Handycam that I had. Yes, I could use the nice camera that I film regular videos with, this camera here right now, but I don't want to unmount it and I need something dead simple. Not a lot of settings, and this just fit the bill. In these videos, I'm sharing a lot more of my own life than I typically do, but there's another part that you're not seeing. The biggest part, actually. My family. This week was Father's Day, and honestly, this is a huge factor in all of this for me. How do I want to raise my kids in today's world? How do I want them listening and thinking about music, or social media, or the internet in general? And with all of the huge internet shifts we're in the middle of right now, how do you balance everything? Or is that even possible? My son didn't know what an iPod was, but got used to it and how it works. He gave me a list of songs that he wants on my iPod, so he'll have something to listen to on the way to his piano lessons or trips to the park.
Paw Patrol, sure. Yellow Submarine, Beatles, classic. Shake Your Pants, Cameo. Fela Kuti, that's my boy. The Two Guys, that's Robson Jorge and Lincoln Olivetti.
My wife loved the iPod idea, so I bought her an iPod mini, the same one that she used to have.
though this one has a new battery and larger flash storage. The iPod modding community can get pretty crazy. But all of this has had me thinking lately, how am I gonna raise my kids when smartphones exist? The internet, algorithms, all of recorded music history in your pocket at all times. The joys and horrors of humanity simultaneously existing in the palm of your hand. I caught myself recently in a dumb parenting moment. I hate the idea of raising an iPad kid, like my son just glued to a screen and unable to engage with the real world. But so one day, my son asked to watch a show or play on the iPad, and I said, no, we don't have a lot of time because we need to leave soon. We're not gonna do screens right now. And then proceeded to scroll through Instagram on my phone. It turns out I'm the iPad kid. So I'm going back. Dumb phone, no social media, no streaming music, everything as manual as possible. Your smartphone is constantly clamoring for your attention, but my Sony Handycam, it just shoots video. My iPod, it just plays music. My point-and-shoot camera, just photos. My notebooks, they're not trying to cross-reference and tag and organize, they just exist as my thoughts suspended on a piece of paper. And my typewriter? Oh, right, I got a typewriter. My normal videos require a lot of research, a lot of writing. I write everything out so I know what most of the video will be before I start filming. I use Notion either on my computer or sometimes on my phone between things. But writing requires a lot of thinking. And a typewriter is a fantastic tool for thinking. The keystrokes are violent and beautiful. The machine is a marvel of engineering. This one is from 1947 and sings like a bird. The chime at the end of the line is so satisfying. And it changes the way you write. There's something to be said about getting the words out of your head as fast as possible, but there's also something to be said for taking a moment and thinking, forming a sentence in your head, and then executing the symphony of text hammers to bring your thoughts immediately into the physical world. In a park with giant headphones on while people stare at you. Look, I know what I look like, a freaking hipster dork, but I'm telling you, this typewriter is incredible. No distractions, no notifications that interrupt you, no squiggly red lines, just you and the words. Alright, this is the video for H to the Izzo by Jay-Z. Can I show you something first though? This is the script. Okay? This is my YouTube embed. Just hit play on that one. How about this one? Hit play. Here we go. This week I went to Sonoma County, California for a gig with the same band I was with last week. I'm driving the Sprinter van and sticking to the rules, we all listen to music through my iPod. The good news was the Mercedes Sprinter also worked perfectly with my iPod. I loaded in the album recommendations I bought from last week and we listened on the way up. This sparked many discussions about the music, the artist, their influences, their art.
That is a wild statement! It's a good song. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying it sounds like T-Swizzle because T-Swizzle is basic.
Disagree.
That's fair.
I love this song.
It was a really great 7-hour drive listening and talking about music with friends before performing music with friends.
I already have the golf ball, right? This again. Welcome to my experience.
What's up? This guy gets it. phone this week is a dumb-ified iPhone, and I'm off social media this month, but I'm still using the internet just on my computer or my iPad. I'm still seeing the videos and reading the articles I want to see just in one sitting instead of checking it all throughout the day. And I think that's a better way of consuming it. Right now in 2024, we're in the middle of a big shift on the internet. Platform walls are getting higher and higher. AI is taking over. When I was a kid and we got the internet at my house, the internet was small and exciting. It connected all kinds of people across the world and brought a lot of wonderful things with it. But now the internet feels big and boring. TikTok has taken over, not only as a social media app, but the concept. One algorithm to rule them all. It's not about following the creator, it's about consuming content. And there's always more content. I talked about this concept last week. As a content creator, you're not making videos, you're making content for Instagram. You're not making music, you're making audio content for Spotify. At least that's where they're trying to head. And now it turns out you're not making articles and websites for the open web anymore. You're making content for Google's AI. Google already muddied the internet with SEO, but has now just rolled out AI summaries, which promises to bring you the answer you want without ever having to go to any other website other than Google. In other words, they're keeping you on their platform as long as possible, just like everyone else. To understand this better, I called up Jason Kobler. He's the former editor-in-chief at Vice's Motherboard and is now the co-founder of 404 Media, a media company focused on how technology shapes our world. I wanted to ask Jason about what's happening with the internet right now.
Yeah, I think what's happening is social media is fraying and Google search is getting both overwhelmed by AI spam to the point where it is becoming very hard to discover new things on the internet.
Yeah.
So what I've been describing it as is like a discoverability crisis. It can be really hard to find things that are made by well-meaning humans who have put like a lot of time and effort into making high quality content.
Yes.
Because it's getting drowned out by commodified AI spam. And then also some stuff that's made by humans, but is created to like appease a search algorithm.
It's so difficult to get to just the thing that you are looking for and the thing you're wanting to get to.
So Google has spent decades directing people to websites. And one of the reasons that's worked for Google is because Google will have ads on its search page, but then most of the internet is monetized via ads that also are controlled by Google. They're very likely taking a cut of the ads that are shown on that website.
Yeah.
But increasingly, Google is trying to keep people on that search page with its snippets, with its AI answers, with the little click down like expanders that will show you more and more information that is kind of copy pasted from a lot of different websites. And so they're essentially cannibalizing traffic to these websites. Making ends meet with advertising alone is increasingly hard. And it's increasingly hard to like build an audience in this world where discoverability is difficult and scaling that up while you have like human workers. And so companies and websites that are increasingly making it work are using AI and they're like publishing, instead of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 articles that a single human being could do if they were rushing in a day, they're having AI publish 200, 300, 500 articles a day.
You are going the traditional website route with 404.
Yeah, so I worked at Vice Media for 10 years. I was the editor-in-chief of Motherboard, which was its tech site. And my co-founders at 404 Media are 3 other people, Sam Cole, Emmanuel Myberg, and Joseph Cox, who also worked at Motherboard. And what we hope to do and are trying to do is tell stories that are not easily told, meaning do reporting, do like investigations, tell people about communities on the internet that they maybe didn't know about before. We want people to know that we're humans, like we are human beings doing the work, and we want to differentiate ourselves by not using AI, because I think the whole industry is going toward using AI, and as that happens, it's like everything starts to become the same and flattened and not super interesting.
You can find our full conversation on the podcast or the video on Dig in the Talks. Over the last 3 weeks, I've run in the exact opposite direction of where everything is headed. Away from algorithms, away from AI, and away from the modern digital tools that we all take for granted as the best way to do things. By unbundling the music function out of my phone, I've regained control over the music I listen to. I've been enjoying it more, listening intentionally, getting great recommendations from humans, and supporting the artist directly in the process. Having an iPod is honestly not that much more inconvenient, and the benefits are huge. It's a net positive. Unbundling the photos out of my phone was a little more inconvenient, but the camera, it's easy to use, takes cool pictures, and I also have to use it much more intentionally. I have to take it out, turn it on, frame up the picture, and import it into my computer after. It's a lot of work, and with that comes a higher value and appreciation of the picture. Net positive. Unbundling parts of my social life out of my phone has been a win too. Social media really isn't that social anymore, but I've had more great conversations with actual people in person, over text, or God forbid on the phone than I have in a very long time. Huge net positive. Unbundling the email and internet and writing and everything else out of my phone, making it a dumb phone. This was a difficult transition. I would still instinctively grab my phone in any free moment I had, but it's not going to give me anything. I can call, text, look at a map, I guess, but that's it. I have to write stuff down to Google later, and then I have a specific time of day to check my email or browse, but then I'm done. But I'm also specifically seeking out higher quality sources, like subscribing to 404 or subscribing to multiple Substacks. My internet consumption is much more limited, but it's much better. The typewriter I used is from 1947, and as you move forward in time, as technology progresses, it all gets simpler, smaller, and bundled together. But each time this happens, we lose a little bit of richness. Sure, it's more convenient on your phone, and it basically does the same thing, but not quite. But you continue to do this over years and years, bundling things together, losing a little bit each time, and we get to where we're at now. Addicted to our phones and addicted to low-quality content that's just trying to keep us more addicted. And these platforms, as I talked with Jason about, they're eating their own tails. We're packing all of this into one device and not stopping to ask if this is actually the best way of doing things, or what it's doing to our well-being in the long term. What we've done is made a digital Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army knives are great because it's multiple tools all in one. You got scissors, a screwdriver, a knife, the corkscrew, whatever you want in there. But think about it. If you're mounting a shelf, are you going to grab the Swiss Army knife or a full-size Phillips head screwdriver? If you're wrapping a Christmas present, do you want to use the little scissors on your Swiss Army knife, or do you want to use a real pair of scissors? The knife on there is very handy, but if you're cooking a 4-course meal, you're probably going to want a full-size chef's knife instead of the Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army knives are great, but sometimes the actual tool is better for the job. And how many tools do you need? Does anyone really need the one with 100 functions or whatever? Now imagine if this Swiss Army knife sent you notifications. The knife is all, hey, just letting you know I can cut stuff. The screwdriver's all, hey, it's been 4 days since you last used me. Or the tweezers are like, hey, don't lose your streak. Tweeze something with me. And then now the Swiss Army knife is getting AI. You get my point. Some things are better unbundled. So here's my new problem. I started this whole thing thinking it was going to be a fun video with a retro piece of music technology. But then I kept going and kept going. In running in the opposite direction from algorithms and AI, I've run backwards in time through over 75 years of technology. I've used older tools for listening and making music, writing, photography, art, news and media, and making social connections. And I guess, I thought it would be an interesting thing to watch, oh, look at the crazy guy with the iPod and the typewriter. And I am honestly thinking about these things and reevaluating what tools I use and why, but in the back of my mind, I've been thinking, cool, when the month is over, I'll go back to using my iPhone, back to Spotify, back to regular life. But what I didn't anticipate is how much better life is. Everything is richer. Music, writing, photography, art. By dumbifying my iPhone, I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm a better person. Now I don't want to go back. Everything is better this way. Why would I go back? I'm not going back. You can't make me go back. Nothing is certain except death, taxes, and laundry. It's always the laundry. I don't know how I didn't see this coming. My apartment complex has one washer and dryer, and it requires a smartphone app. There's no way to pay with cash. I can't just not do laundry. I have to reinstall this app. It's not just the laundry, though. These past few weeks, I've gotten so many texts from friends that are links to articles or videos or Spotify songs that I can't do anything with on my phone. I can check them on my computer, but since I'm not doing Spotify or streaming music, I can't open those links at all. I want to get a real dumb phone, but it'll require major life changes. Yes, it really is better, but the rest of the world doesn't operate this way. So many things require apps now, or it's at least much more inconvenient to not use the app. So now I genuinely don't know what to do. I've dug myself deep down into a hole, and it turns out I really love it down here. But I'm being pulled back to the surface, and I don't want to go back. Life is better this way, even if it's harder in some ways. Some of the older tools I've used are a better way of doing it, but some modern technology is required. I have one more week left in this experiment, and I not only don't know how it will end next week, I don't know what I'm gonna do after it's all over. Hey, it's week 4 me. I think I figured it out. I gotta do a couple things first, including something I never thought I'd do, but I'll tell you about it next week. See you then. At the beginning of June, I decided to listen to music exclusively through an iPod for 1 month. I thought it would be a fun video, but it ended up changing my life. This is week 4, the final week of the experiment, and if you haven't seen the other videos, here's a quick recap of where I've been. I talked to the author of the book Filter World about how algorithms flatten culture, left social media, talked to an artist about making music in the platform era, got a ton of music recommendations from real people, decided to dumbify my iPhone, and just kept digging myself into a hole until I realized I really like it down here. Life actually is better without a lot of our modern technology to distract us. But of course, the rest of the world doesn't work this way, and I'm being forced back towards the things I left. So this week, week 4, the conclusion to this iPod series, I'm going to attempt to find a way to balance all of this. Some way to keep the best of what I've learned, but mixed with modern life. and in a way that doesn't lead me back to mindless scrolling and passive consumption. Here we go. Do you remember before you had a job, before you had responsibilities and worries and to-do lists and bills and laundry? Ugh, the laundry. Before all of that, it was just you. There were no apps, no smartphones, no feeds clamoring for your attention, just you. The most important thing I got back this month is solitude. Not loneliness, but being alone intentionally. It's just me and my own thoughts and feelings. I'm not subconsciously affected by algorithms or ads, no addictive feeds. I'm in control of my own internal life again. I know you're thinking, that's easy for you to say, single man standing in the park, but I'm married with 2 kids. I'm a very active dad, and finding moments of solitude is really hard. But it's even more crucial if I'm going to be a full person and the best I can be for my family. Because before I'm a father or a husband or a musician, it's just me. One thing I've learned this month is the value of having your own collection. We stream everything now. Music, movies, TV, all digital media. But if Spotify removes an album or Netflix loses a movie, you lose access to your favorite stuff. This is happening not only in digital media, but physical products as well. In 2022, Spotify sold this device called a car thing. For $90, it was basically a dedicated Spotify controller for your car. But now they're bricking it, which means in December of this year, the physical device that people paid money for will just stop working. Spotify has advised people to dispose of it properly. Amazon sold these little security bots for businesses called Astro for Business. They were $2,400, and this September, they will all stop working. Amazon is issuing refunds in this case, but the point is clear. By and large, we don't own media anymore, and this model is making its way into the physical world. This is why building my own collection is important. It's my stuff, the music I love, the songs that mean the most to me. Using an iPod has made this clear for me. I need to own more of my media. Not only physical things like records, but a digital collection too. The catch is, this iPod is 80 gigabytes and it's starting to fill up. Plus, this iPod still syncs through Apple Music or Finder, but if Apple decided to stop supporting this 20-year-old device, it would be bricked as well. Solitude is important, but so is spending time with people in the physical world. I don't mean just physically being with people. For the last month, I've been walking around with these giant headphones on, listening to music in my own little world. But while you and I may be seeing the same thing, we're hearing different things. I'm walking around with my own little life soundtrack, which is completely different from what you might be listening to. This is why live music is so powerful, because when the Roots take the stage, or the Jungle Brothers, Common, or Queen Latifah, for a few hours, thousands of people in the audience are all synced up, not only with each other, experiencing the exact same thing, but with the performers on stage. Yes, it's community. Yes, it's a shared love of the music being performed, but it's also one of those times when you have the exact same experience as the person next to you. And there's something magical about it. Something that even my iPod can't give me. I've been here before. Many times. I do a social media cleanse, leave Instagram, take stuff off my phone, I feel better, but then the same thing always happens. I go, oh, I should be more mindful in how I use this. And then I just get sucked back in, back to scrolling mindlessly, passive consumption. The problem is that these are billion-dollar companies. Of course they're good at keeping me addicted. My phone is full of spectacular glowing colors that draw me in. The algorithmic feed is designed to keep me on the platform as long as possible. My attention is the product that they sell to other companies. They are worth billions of dollars because they've gotten very good at keeping people on these platforms. So being mindful isn't gonna work. It never will. I don't want a vague solution. I need to get specific on how I want to reintegrate some of these digital tools back into my life. This whole month, I've still been using the internet, just higher quality sources. I've still been listening to music and writing and reading, taking photos and videos, just the old way of doing it. Last week I made the analogy about how smartphones are like digital Swiss Army knives, and having a digital Swiss Army knife for some of these things is incredibly valuable. But if I'm gonna have one, I want to decide what goes in it and how I use it. Otherwise, I'll end up right back where I started. This iPod series was originally going to be just one video, but once I realized how much bigger it was going to be and I split it into 4, this actually created a new problem that I didn't see coming. Because I thought this series was going to end with like a simple, nah, Spotify's cool, just use it better. But then I discovered that life is so much better without so much of this stuff, and I had to figure out a new ending. And truly, I have not known how this would all end, how I'm going to wrap this up. But then I found it. I came across this book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. The subtitle is Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World. And it's so spot on for where I'm currently at, it's kind of crazy. And there are 2 bits of irony with it. He makes the argument for digital minimalism, not a prescriptive set of do's and don'ts, but a philosophy of technology. Instead of jumping on the latest tech trend and figuring out what you can do with it, you start with the question of what do I want my life to look like? And then you use digital tools that will get you there. And crucially, you happily miss out on everything else. And here's the first ironic thing. He suggests that you start with a digital declutter, a 30-day period where you take a break from optional technologies in your life, explore and rediscover activities and behaviors that you might find satisfying and meaningful. In other words, the exact thing that I'm wrapping up right now. The idea then is to slowly reintroduce optional technologies, but starting first with the question, what do I want my life to look like? And finding tools that help you achieve that. From there, it's all about being intentional and optimizing the tools that you use. Not just, oh yeah, I'm jumping back on Instagram, but determine the value you want out of it and use it for that purpose only, so you don't get sucked down the algorithmic rabbit hole. You do what you want and happily miss out on everything else. If you've been feeling the same way as me, you have to read this book. Just listen to this. Digital minimalism definitively does not reject the innovations of the internet age, but instead rejects the way so many people currently engage with these tools. Which brings me to the second ironic thing. I discovered this book through an algorithm. I know! I was on YouTube and this video popped up and it was on the homepage and it was Cal's channel. He's talking about this book in the video and it got me so excited that I bought it and ate up every word. The thing I've been running from for a month just brought me the solution to my problem. Touché, algorithm. Touché. I've effectively done a 30-day digital declutter. I know how good life can be without the distractions of modern life. I know what I want now. Now, which digital tools do I reintroduce to help me get there, and how can I maximize them? First up, the camcorder. I have loved you, Sony Handycam, but I don't need to carry you around all the time. There's a great video camera on my phone, and it's already always with me. So I thank you for your service, but I'm gonna put a video camera into my digital Swiss Army knife. But I'm gonna give this camcorder to my son. It'll be like the family camera. Maybe he'll start making his own videos. Next, the digital disposable camera. This little thing is awesome. I love the vibe and the intentionality that comes with it, but I do also always have a great camera on my phone. I'll use it occasionally, the family trips to the beach or times when I don't want to have my phone with me, but in general, it's going back in the Swiss Army knife. Next up, the typewriter. Man, this is a hard one. I really love this typewriter, but it's not always practical. I'm gonna keep it. I'll use it for big thinking or specific kinds of writing, but I'm going back to using Notion most of the time. So yes, I'm gonna put it back in the Swiss Army knife, but I'll pull it out as often as I can. My notebooks. This is easy. I'm absolutely keeping these. My small notebook is better than any productivity app I've ever used, and I've used just about every one. It's my own system that I design, and it wouldn't make sense to anyone else. To-dos, week of calendar, mind mapping, brainstorming, research notes, all of that is staying out of my phone. Social media. There was one night this month when I sat with my wife and she showed me Instagram Reels on her phone, and it felt like, you know when you run into an ex like a year later and you go, oh my God, I dodged a bullet. And that's what it felt like. But at the same time, I do love messaging with people and loosely keeping up with what's happening. I'm going to keep all social media off of my phone, but I'll check it once a week on my iPad. I'll check messages and then spend 30 minutes to catch up with people, making sure I didn't miss any album releases or babies being born. But for me, I'm keeping this out of my Swiss Army knife. Let's talk about other internet use. For now, I'm going to continue to keep the browser off of my phone. The mental clarity is just absolutely worth it. I'll treat my iPad like it's the newspaper. So when I actually have a moment to sit down and think and enjoy what I'm reading or watching, I'll do it on my iPad. I'll continue with higher quality online media, supporting publications and creators I care about through things like Patreon, Substack, or direct subscriptions. I talked about the light phone in the last video, but I dumbified my iPhone instead. They actually just announced the new Light Phone 3, which is coming in January, and it looks cool, but for now I'm gonna keep my phone as is. A 3-year-old iPhone in black and white with a minimalist launcher, and download only the apps that I absolutely need, like banking or laundry. This leaves me with the thing that got me here in the first place, the iPod. When I started all of this, I thought I would just junk it at the end, but I really love this thing. It's really great for my own music listening. But in the same way that I need the laundry app, I also need music streaming. Week 1, I used Tidal to play requested songs at the wedding I was DJing. Week 2, I used Spotify because the client had sent their background music playlist, and adding it and offline syncing it is just so much easier, especially considering this isn't my music, I'm being hired. In this way, I'll continue to use music streaming as a tool. It's a great tool for when I'm doing an event and they send a specific playlist. It's a great tool for when a friend sends a link and says, hey, I love this song, you should check it out. And it's a great tool for quickly diving into an artist's discography. But if you're the type of person who wants a more isolated music experience, not cut in with all the extra podcasts, audiobooks, music videos instead of album covers, and the platform pushing flat algorithmic recommendations onto you, it's not the best solution for music listening. That title, in my book, goes to the almighty iPod. But if I am going to keep this thing and use it regularly, is 80 gigabytes going to be enough? And what if Apple stops supporting it? I need to maximize this tool too. So I'm scratching the side there. Okay, well, look at that. I am just scratching this like crazy. Let me see how this guy does it. How are you doing this, man? You made that look so easy. Thought I had it. Like, look at, oh God. Come on. I gotta get this open. This is step 1 and I'm stuck. Oh, let me turn you off. I'm so sorry. You should be asleep right now.
God, nurse. See that? Boom! I'm in! This looks like a murder. I love this thing, and I've spent a month with it, and this hurts me to do. Oh my God. Look at my handiwork. Look at what I've done to this frame. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. That's it. So I've already kind of scratched up the faceplate. I've scratched up and bent the frame here on the back plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace these with new ones too. Just like that. Oh my God. What is happening? This is the old clip wheel. And this is the new one. I told you if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. This goes... How does it go? Around the frame. So that goes like that. But then where does this go? Here's the original faceplate, and here's what I'm putting on. Now on to the battery and the storage. So this was the original hard drive. It was at 80 gigabytes. And I got this thing called an iFlash Quad. And what it allows you to do is swap that hard drive. This particular model lets you take 4 micro SDs right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill this with 2 cards. I can expand it later if I want, but each of these cards are 512. So this is gonna total a terabyte on this iPod. There we go, 1 terabyte iPod. I'm gonna get a new backplate and I'm gonna get this battery in there. So this one went down like that. So it's probably gonna be the same situation where it goes like this. Okay, battery's in. Boom. Oh, it's lighting up. It's lighting up. Ah! Ah! Yes! It says connect to your computer. It works. It's alive. Ah. Okay, I still got to piece it back together, but it's alive. Look, look. I connected the battery, and it's alive. Okay. Now I gotta get it back together. Oh, I gotta get myself together, man. I've customized my iPod by not only putting in a larger battery and 1 terabyte of storage, but also by installing Rockbox, an alternative software for the iPod. Instead of syncing with iTunes or Finder, you can just drag and drop the music you want directly onto it. There's custom themes, and because it's third-party software, it's brick-proof. Apple could stop supporting the iPod, and I would still keep using mine the way I want. This is the music player of my dreams. Oh, plus, I got a little Bluetooth transmitter so I can connect it to any car or even my AirPods. Algorithms are complicated. On the one hand, they contribute to the flattening of everything, making it all the same. On the other, it brought me the solution I was looking for, and it brought this video to you. Modern digital tools are often addictive by design, and they may not be the best solution for what I'm trying to do. But if I can figure out what I want first, I can figure out a way to best use the tool to my own advantage, not the tools. Do I want to consume high-quality media and art, or do I want to consume content? What kind of life do I want? What kind of life do I want for my kids? How can I use digital tools to help build that? These are the questions that matter most, and the ones that I'll continue to actively seek answers to, no matter where technology goes.